Now, a lot of people had childhood connections with the superheroes, Batman and Superman. I didn't really. My childhood hero was definitely Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire movies, directed by Sam Raimi, were my movies. I loved those movies. And I remember, this is a memory. I remember when I first watched Spider-Man 2, I remember being freaked out when Harry was taking off the Spider-Man mask and he was holding the knife. And I remember being freaked out and running into my parents' room and telling them, "Oh no, Harry's gonna kill Spider-Man!" I'm being really freaked out, and I liked that. I liked the connection I had with the character. And Spider-Man was definitely my childhood superhero. And it wasn't until a few years later, it wasn't until like around 2009-ish, when I first watched a film called Batman Begins, which started off Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, which I still love to this day, one of my favorite trilogies. And when it came out, I hadn't been allowed to see The Dark Knight, because my mom was really freaked out by the Joker character. Willingly so, because the character is freaky. And then I remember in 2012, when it came out, seeing The Dark Knight Rises, which is still, to this day, one of my favorite superhero movies. It's fantastic, and review might come later. It depends on if I'm up for it. But I would love to review this trilogy of movies here. I would love to review this trilogy if I had the chance to. Great movies. I enjoyed them a lot. And it wasn't until around that time that I got my first experience with a character named Superman in a show called Smallville. On the whole series. I loved this show. I still love this show. It's a great show. And I still really feel it's underappreciated. Because it managed to stay on the air for 10 years, consistently with consistent ratings. And it wasn't any... There was never a time where people were like, "Oh, is it gonna get renewed? Is it gonna get renewed?" No, it was consistently popular, and it was always in good standing, which is something I think that a lot of shows have trouble with now. And that's something that Smallville managed to do for 10 years, air a show about young Clark Kent. Something that I think that, well, Gotham's having a bit of trouble, because it has good word of mouth from the viewers, but critics are having a hard time with this show. And a lot of hardcore Batman fans like me aren't really liking the show that much either. And that's something it managed to do for a while. And then, in 2013, I experienced Man of Steel. Now, when this movie came out, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people were frustrated and just were annoyed by this movie's existence, I think. But I legitimately enjoy this movie. It's fun, and I think that it has some of the best score and cinematography that a superhero movie's ever had. Now, I know it is weak in some departments. The pacing was a bit off, and something about it just felt a little off-putting at some points. But I think that this is upper-class quality superhero movies. And I think it's very underappreciated, and it's a shame. But that could never live up to Christopher Reeve. Which, this one, first one, great. This one, second one, great as well. The third one, and then this one, bad. It's bad. It's really bad. But Christopher Reeve will forever be, I think he had the best performance out of any Superman so far, but in terms of my personal favorite Superman, he's not my favorite at all. That one goes to Tom Welling here. His face is on here. He will be my Superman forever. And with the movie titled Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice being promoted heavily now, with even a wallet, a cool mega wallet being included in this month's Loot Crate. It's been very popular. There's been commercials all over the place. All the trailers got a lot of ad revenue on YouTube, and it's finally out. I was ready. I was really excited. Let's see. Right after this intro, did the movie live up to the hype? Let's find out now. So here we go with the review. Overall, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice was incredibly enjoyable. Now, I'm not going to grade this movie based off of how much I enjoyed it. I'm going to grade it off of the categories that I put into place before I saw it. So, for my personal opinion, my personal enjoyment, I think it was 2.5 hours of pure DC heaven. If you're a huge DC fan, and you liked Man of Steel, you're going to love this movie. This movie is going to be your movie for this year. But if you're not, you're going to dislike it. I'm sure of that, because it's a little weird at some point. It's a little weird in tone a little bit for a little while. And the first category, in case you guys don't know, because I've only used this so far in my Sword Art Online reviews, but my new rating system is I create 10 categories before I see something that I think would make it be perfect. Would make it that if it mastered all of these qualities, all these different categories, it would be amazing. It would be a great movie. And I created 10 categories for Batman v Superman, and then I graded the film off of those 10 categories. The first of which is story, which I give a 7 out of 10, because I agree with the statements some people have, where they say it feels like it's 5 different movies, a bunch of different movies into one. I believe, I'm going to quote Dan Murrell on this from Screen Junkies, that it feels like it's a Superman movie, a Batman movie, a movie featuring Lex Luthor, and a movie setting up Justice League, and a Batman vs. Superman movie. It's all those 5 movies combined, and that's why I give it a 7 out of 10, because it didn't bug me as much. It only detracted a little bit in my personal enjoyment, but it didn't really put me off that much. I enjoyed it. I felt that the story was good. The story was good, but the reason why it detracted so much from it was because of those reasons there. And next category, screenplay. 9 out of 10, because I think that Chris Terrio did a fantastic job with the screenplay, with help from David S. Goyer and Zach Snyder and a bunch of other people. But Chris Terrio won an Oscar for Argo in 2013. No, 2014. Yeah, that's right, 2014, because I'm such an idiot. 2014, because that film came out in 2013, didn't it? Whatever. Chris Terrio won an Oscar for Argo, let's just say that. And it shows, because his writing is good, and, well, it is comic book writing. It is some of the best comic book movie writing I've ever seen. It's really good. It's up there with Christopher Nolan's work, with his brother Jonathan Nolan, I believe is his name. Don't quote me on that. For the Dark Knight trilogy. They did a fantastic job with the dialogue, and, they did a fantastic job with the dialogue and the screenplay in that, and I think that this movie is up there as well. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but yeah, I don't care. If you disagree with me on this, I don't care. If you do agree with me, that's awesome. If you don't, whatever. I don't care. But yeah, I personally believe that the screenplay was great, and I enjoyed it, and I felt that the characters all had a purpose in their own way, and I should have warned before, this is going to be a full spoiler review. So if you've made it this far, and you haven't seen the movie yet, or don't want it to be spoiled for you, exit now. Leave. Watch it. Seriously, watch this movie. If you're a pure DC fan, you're going to like it. If you're not, I can't guarantee you're going to like it, but you might. But after you see it, come back and, like, here, let's talk about it after you come back. In terms of characters, they all had a role. They all had a purpose there in the movie. And, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, was great. When she first entered into the movie, you know, when Batman was, like, in the Batmobile and Doomsday was, like, approaching him and just started with his, like, I don't know what you call them for him. Is it laser vision for him? Or is it Omega Beams? I don't know. Omega Beams. Oh no, Omega Beams is dark side. But when he was, like, starting his laser vision, when Wonder Woman just came in and just blocked it with her with her bracelets, that was I was one of the people that was, like, clapping their heads off in the theater. Everyone was applauding that. That was great. That was a great introduction. That was a great entrance. And what was cool was she intrigued you before that. As Diana Prince, not quite as Wonder Woman from the beginning. But, yeah, not just Wonder Woman. Perry White had a role, and it was holding Clark back from what he was doing, which made him feel even more constrained. It made him feel even more constrained with his beliefs of Batman and how he strongly disliked Batman. That really built up for later in the movie when the fight initiated. And Lois Lane had a role, not much, but she had one. And that was to help support Clark and to help him out and to save him towards the end. I'm gonna get more to that in the end. So, yeah, screenplay 9 out of 10. Score! Oh, I adore this score by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. Hans Zimmer, great. And this is like a good first impression of for me of Junkie XL. Because the mixing for this score was amazing. 10 out of 10 score. Seriously, come on. Awesome. I loved it. Some of my favorite tracks are I think my three favorites are The Red Capes Are Coming, the Lex Luthor song, which actually I listened to the soundtrack before the movie came out. And then I also enjoyed Men Are Still Good, the Batman suite, which is awesome. And then also This Is My World, I believe is what it's called. This Is My World, which is the last act. It's the last couple minutes of the movie's score. And it was amazing. So, score at 10 out of 10. I would highly recommend you seek it out. I would maybe even suggest you do that before you see the movie. Because I did, and I enjoyed the score even more in the theater because I was more familiar with it, and it felt cool listening to it. So, yeah, next category, directing. I give this one a 10 out of 10 because Zach Snyder always does a great job. The camera work and everything is spectacular. Everything feels fluid and cool in terms of the directing, not in terms of the movie itself, but in terms of the directing of the camera work was fantastic. In terms of the people moving in throughout the frame, and like, yeah, directing was fantastic. Zack Snyder always does a great job. Let's move on to the next category, cinematography, which is a 10 out of 10 for sure. Wait, did I say directing gets 10 out of 10? I don't know if I did, but if I didn't, then yeah, directing 10 out of 10. Cinematography 10 out of 10 because I don't remember. I'll probably edit in or not the name of the cinematographer. I can't remember his name or her name. I don't remember who it is. Cinematography, fantastic, glorious. The camera shots and how they were organized and everything. It felt like Man of Steel's directing was very weird and off-putting a little bit. Because a lot of the camera work was like switching between a bunch of different types of shots, which was kind of off-putting at some points because you're like, oh, okay, so they're going with that type of camera work now. Oh, okay, that's weird. But this movie is very consistent in that it's stylistic and also epic and grand in scale. One of my favorite shots is when it's like the ground sort of shot when like when Ben Affleck is standing in the armored bat suit when he's standing in front of the bat signal, and it's like a ground view and it like sort of like rotates. That was glorious. That's one of my favorite shots I've ever seen. That was amazing. Yes, cinematography, 10 out of 10. Now this category, this one's going to be kind of controversial with the people who see this. Acting, I'm going to 10 out of 10, because a lot of people are really going to disagree with me on this. And I'm going to get into specific roles later in the review when I get more into like delving into the actual events in the movie. But yeah, acting, I give it 10 out of 10. One of the people to steal the show was Ben Affleck. Glorious. I think it's one of the best Batman we've ever had. Best incarnations of Batman we've ever had in the history of film. And I recently just watched before the old 40s serials that played before movies with the original Batman. Batman and Robin. Batman had like a really weird mask. It was great. It had like really long ears, like Arkham long ears. And it was funny. It was pretty cool. I liked it. But it still impressed me, kind of. The action was terrible, but it was cool. And Ben Affleck's still up there. It's one of the best Batman. I think with Christian Bale and Michael Keaton and Kevin Conroy, he's up there. Yeah, acting 10 out of 10. One I'll get into later. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but I don't care. Fight scenes, 9 out of 10. Because some of the CGI is really noticeable. For example, one of them is when Superman is when the big fight with Doomsday. When Superman is like the shot that was sort of in the trailer when Superman has like the laser vision, his face is all like he's angry, his face is like super angered, and then like the laser vision is kind of just comes out of his eyes, and like he's making the weird facial expressions. That's CGI for sure. That when I look at it in theater, I was like, yeah, that's CGI. Some of the other CGI was very well meshed in to the movie, but that one thing just really just was very off-putting for me for that. So, but the rest of it is fantastic. The big fight scene between Batman and Superman was glorious because I was feeling something when I watched that sequence. Because I was thinking, oh, Batman, dude, Lex Luthor's gonna kill this dude's mother if he doesn't kill you. Just let him talk it through with you. He didn't do anything wrong. Don't punch him in the face. Oh, you punched him in the face. Oh, you just punched him through the ground. I was feeling things when I watched the movie. I was feeling things during this fight, which is something I think a lot of action movies and a lot of superhero movies especially don't do that well, is make you feel things when you watch these sequences. And that's something I really think the Batman v Superman did really well, because I was feeling something throughout all the sequences. The Doomsday fight, I was thinking, oh god, oh this dude's gonna kill so many people. He's gonna kill so many people. Why? And what made it worse was he destroyed the monument for the people in Battle of Metropolis. When I was watching that, I was like, oh, don't destroy that. That was commemorating thousands of people that died. No, don't. Oh, he destroyed it. Oh, he destroyed it. Oh, he destroyed it. Oh, the people that were angry about the destruction of at the end of Man of Steel are gonna be so mad by the end of this one. There was so much destruction. Oh god. People are gonna be so mad. It was like that ending times 10 with this. But yeah, fight scene 10 out of 10. Next category, costume design 9 out of 10, because costume design is fantastic. Superman's suit is great. It's a little bit of redesign, I believe. I'm not sure if in let me see. I'm not sure if in Man of Steel he had the yellow behind his. Oh, yeah, he did. But I think they changed it a little bit. I think they changed the color a little bit. And, love Superman costume, love the Batman costume, both of them. They looked great. But the Wonder Woman costume is what made me give this one a 9 out of 10. Because, although I do love the costume, it's cool, it felt like it was the only costume that lacked color. Because even Superman Soldier's henchmen in the Nightmare sequence, even they had color in them. They were wearing, like, all black, but they had, like, the patch of color. Wonder Woman has no color. It's just like dark colors, like not very bright. Which is there actually were a lot more bright colors in this movie than there were in Man of Steel, which I was very happy about because the movie felt very bleak. But yeah, that gets a 9 out of 10. Fluidity, whatever you want to say it, like how a movie flows. This one I heard a lot about before I even saw it. I like in all the reviews I saw, I strayed away from spoiler reviews, I promise. But there are other reviews I saw before I saw the movie, all said that the movie it didn't flow very well. And I can agree to a bit. I gave this category an 8 out of 10, and that's the reason why I created this category, because days before today, I saw people said that the movie didn't flow that well, so I added this category to see how I felt. And I gave it an 8 out of 10, because I feel that it was a little bit weird in the beginning, but then towards the third act, it all just started to mesh really, really well. All just sort of went hand in hand, and it just combined. It felt like it was one. It felt like it made sense towards the end. And all this stuff like, oh, why'd you cut from a scene of Batman like killing a bunch of Batman having branded some child trafficking guy, I think, was who he was, and then right to Lex Luthor's basketball gym. That's why'd you make that cut? But then it all just starts to sort of mesh together, because it all starts to come into one, especially when it starts the Lex Luthor party sequence, with the big party that Lex was holding at his house, and yeah, fluidity, 8 out of 10. Could have been better. It was a little off-putting towards the beginning, but the ending, how it all meshed together, was great. Last category. Final one to determine what this movie's final grade will be. third act, because I know that every superhero movie needs to have a great third act. Does this movie as well? God, yeah. It's awesome. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Third act. Great. Love it. It's awesome. The Doomsday looked a little weird at first, but then as soon as you saw that, oh, wait a minute. Once he starts getting attacked in like different areas, then he starts to grow spikes there. And I can imagine that if they ever use Doomsday again, that they would have him already be like beaten up already, so we would have like the classic like spike beard and like the spike hair and everything, and that would be cool. The third act. Oh yeesh, this is where I start into big spoilers. Before I didn't really talk much about spoilers. This is where I do. Yeah, Superman's dead. Superman was killed in the fight with Doomsday. Because Wonder Woman cut off his arm and then a spike just grew. And the spear that Batman was using in the fight with Superman, the Kryptonite spear, Clark grabbed it and was hurting himself in the process, too. And then he just started flying towards Doomsday and then just stabbed him through with it. Then Doomsday just grabbed his spike arm and then just spiked Superman directly in the symbol. In the, this one. This one. He just kind of like, yeah. And, that was sad. And also Lex was arrested. He was in prison, and it was in prison. This was really cool. I liked this change. His head was shaved, and then it was turned into a bald, and it was turned into a bald head. And I liked that it wasn't like Kryptonian poison like it was in a lot of the comics, and that it was that it was the it was the fact that he was put in prison, which is why he had the shaved head, which was cool. And I loved the Batman confrontation with him, and how Lex started rambling on about he's coming. We sent out a message and he received it. I am calling it. That is Darkseid. He is coming. Darkseid is coming. Is it Darkseid Brainiac? I really hope it's Darkseid. It better not be Brainiac, because I want them to save that for another Man of Steel movie, which I heard is in development, Man of Steel 2. But yeah, let me close up this review portion, then we'll get right into the spoilers. And right into like the key points, the things that the like specific things I liked. So third act, 10 out of 10. Total out of 100 points, each 10 categories had 10 points. It's all tallied up to 9.92 out of 100, which is an A-. Batman v Superman, A-. Awesome. Love this movie. I enjoyed it a lot, and I felt that it's gonna be underappreciated a lot. A lot of people are really gonna hate this movie, and there's gonna be people that love it, and I am one of the people that loved it. I feel like if there's gonna be no in between. There's gonna be people that love it and people that hate it. There's no in between. There's no like, oh, it was okay. There's always a terrible or awesome viewpoint of the movie, and that's exactly how Man of Steel was. Because a lot of people hated it. It was very mixed in total reviews. And that's exactly how Batman v Superman is doing right now. But I give it an A-, and I will stand by that grade. Now, I don't stand by the fact that I gave Avengers Age of Ultron an A+. Now that I rewatched it a bunch of times, I would probably give it a B+ or B if I use this grade system. But, yeah, I will stand by this grade. I will stand by this grade at the end of time. Same, I will stand with the grade that I gave The Force Awakens. I will always stand by. I didn't really give it a grade, but I would give that film an A+ or A. I will stand by that. And now, key points, specific things I liked the movie or didn't like. Jesse Eisenberg. Oof, he was. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people really didn't like his performance. I liked it. He was cool. He was intimidating, but also very, 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 I don't know what the word is for it, so I'm just going to say he's very, very Jesse Eisenberg. And that he's very enthusiastic and creepy when he wants to be. And I feel that a lot of people are going to hate his performance. A lot of people already do hate his performance. But I surely enjoyed it. Now, Not the best, because, you know, a certain show called Smallville had the best Lex Luthor of all time put on screen, Mr. Michael Rosenbaum, but he's up there. He's at least in my top 5, with Gene Hackman and Michael Rosenbaum. Yeah. But he was great. He was really good. Batfleck. Batman. Ben Affleck as Batman, Bruce Wayne. Now, he was one who, it appeared, he might have killed a few times. And so if you're someone who hasn't seen the movie yet, for some reason you're watching this, either you don't care or you just kind of can't stop watching. If you're not gonna like, if you're not gonna like the fact that Batman isn't really afraid to kill in this movie, then you might not like this movie that much, because it's sprinkled in there, but it is a main plot. It is a main point in it. But Ben Affleck's performance was great. He is one of my favorite Batman. He is one of my favorite Batman now. He's in my top 5 for sure. He's in my top 4, I think. Next, Gal Gadot. Great Diana Prince Wonder Woman. What was great was the scene in the hotel where she was like on the computer and she was looking through Lex Luthor's hard drive, and she clicked on the clip. That was so cool. Ezra Miller as Flash. I'm so ready. Like I love Grant Gustin as Flash on TV now, but I think Ezra Miller's gonna do fantastic, because in case you didn't know, he was in my favorite movie of all time. In case you didn't know, a little movie called The Perks of Being a Wallflower. That's him right there. That's the dude. And I love him in this movie. Great, absolutely adored his performance in that movie. He's a great actor, and he is a good comic relief. So it's good that DC has him as a part of this. And also the whole Jason Momoa cameo, I felt like they must have had a bigger one in the Ultimate Edition, which is going to be released in July. I feel like they probably had he probably had a bigger cameo. I'm sure he did. He had to have. Yeah, he must have had a bigger role, because when he released his picture, it was like a big deal. But his cameo is like 10 seconds of footage of him in the ocean, and he was like attacking some sea diver who was like in his territory or something. I don't know. The whole cyborg thing, that was good. That was a good build up too. Ray Fisher, that was really cool, because it showed that it was only like a small fragment of him. It was like his head and his torso with like one of his arms, and then like this weird like pulsating material just kind of moved over towards him, and then just sort of like merged with him and started screaming. That was pretty cool. That's a cool build up. I'm ready to see Cyborg. I'm also ready to see the Wonder Woman film next year. I'm so ready for that. So yeah, Gal Gadot, great Wonder Woman. Death of Superman, very gutsy move, I think. And what really put it over the edge for me was when they showed the casket that they were like having the big ceremony, the big like parade ceremony, not like the small ceremony that Clark Kent had. Was that they put the Superman symbol in silver on the casket, in the black casket. That is directly out of the comic book. That's amazing. And at the end, they sort of teased it. Lois just like dropped some dirt on the Clark Kent casket, and then final shot was like the casket, and then the dirt just sort of like moved up a little bit, and then cut to credits. So it's teasing. There will be the rebirth of Superman, which was another great '90s comic where Clark comes back to life. Clark comes back to life with a mullet and a new black unitard outfit, which was cool, and I'm excited to see that. I think that's gonna be Justice League. It has to be, because Justice League Part 1, I think they're gonna have either in the middle of the movie or towards the end. They're gonna bring Buck back to life. Now Jeremy Irons, great Alfred. I think that he was underused a little bit. I think he'll have a more prominent role in the Ultimate Edition. I believe Jenna Malone as Barbara Gordon has a really big role in the Ultimate Edition, but she didn't even appear in this version, the theatrical version. But Jeremy Irons, in terms of best Alfred, I think he's like tied with Michael Caine. But they were very different Alfreds. Michael Caine was a very old Alfred who was very supportive, He was always a very, like, supportive Alfred. Well, I feel Jeremy Irons is a very, like, hands-on partner in crime Alfred. Not, like, on the scene, but, like, he was helping control the Batwing and everything. I feel like he was a good, partner for Bruce to have. That's the Alfred that he was. But yeah, I know that's an awkward way to end off the video, but I think that closes off my feelings for the movie. Now, tell me in the comment section below. Have you seen Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice? I hope so I didn't spoil this movie for you. And if you did, what did you think about it? Because I love to hear what you guys thought. And if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, or subscribe. It really would help me out. If you don't want to, that's fine. Just if you want to, that's great. And until next time, guys, adios, amigos.